All right, how to date yourself. The how and what is coming, but first, the why. Why dating yourself matters. It's about choosing yourself, plain and simple, so that you don't get completely lost and wrapped up in the pursuit of being chosen by somebody else, which of course feels good and is part of this whole dating process. You want to be picked, you want to be chosen. Yes, but that cannot be the reason, the only reason you are dating. It's also about choosing yourself in this process too. And that is what you do when you date yourself. You choose yourself. You choose yourself so that you don't lose yourself in dating. Think about the times you've maybe said yes when you really wanted to say no because you were afraid of losing someone. You were afraid of pushing someone away. And so you said yes just to keep them close to you, just to be easier to date. Think about the times you've maybe stayed in a connection and a relationship for too long while you ignored your own intuition, your own inner voice that said something's not quite right. Speak up, say something. And maybe you've had this experience where a viable potential partner was there in front of you, but you weren't ready to receive that kind of attention, that kind of love. Maybe you didn't feel like you deserved it or that they were too good for you. You weren't good enough. Where I'm going with these examples is there are many ways in dating we choose others over and above choosing ourselves. And as part of this conversation, I try and strike this balance of when you're dating, yes, you want to choose yourself as you also choose how you want to spend time and how you want to connect. The nuance is you don't want to become so hyper independent, so hyper vigilant, so almost selfish, like I don't need anyone, I can't trust anyone, I don't want to ask anyone for anything kind of thing, because where does that leave the other person, right? Why would someone want to form a relationship, a connection with you if your actions and behaviors, your body language, your energy, everything is saying, I don't need you. So I want us to balance this concept of choice in dating where we both get to choose how we spend our time together, how we want to connect, what's important to us. How do we start to align around some of those things, right? Values, dating goals, objectives, desires, maybe how we like to experience intimacy, how we like to experience life, what's fun for us, what's not fun, what are our goals, kind of what are we working towards outside of dating. So how can we choose to create and develop that connection, that compatibility between us and someone else while we're dating, all the while choosing ourselves so that we don't sacrifice our own wants and needs in an effort to bring someone closer to us, right? In an effort to be easier to date, in an effort just to not feel lonely, in an effort to be validated, to receive attention, to feel like we're enough, like we're important, like we matter. How can we choose ourselves so we don't lose ourselves? And we've all done it. I have, probably every one of you listening has. It's easier said than done. It's all a process. It's all a practice. I keep talking about a lot of things as a practice because it's just about developing those habits, those practices that we can go back to day in and day out, knowing that not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day we're going to be in the best mental health. Not every day we're going to have the best outlook, the most energy. Like some days, some seasons, even some years may be difficult, but we still have those practices that are for us that we choose to go to so that we can just overall stay more or less focused. The other part of why choosing yourself is important is because it's going to limit the need to feel like you have to protect what isn't exactly yours. And what this is about is the people we're going to date, they're their own people. They have their own desires and beliefs, their own goals and objectives, their own ambitions, their own insecurities, their own challenges, their own lived experiences. And we can't fix other people or try to have them be the partners we want them to be, nor can we mold ourselves into the partners that we feel like we need to be with them, right? So we can keep them. This can show up in so many different ways. And if you lean more anxiously attached, or even if you don't, you've probably done some of these things where you're reviewing old text message conversations, DMs, checking their activity online, right? Are they active? You're looking to see, did they update their dating app profile, or like what's happening over there if you met on the apps? It's about protecting this idea of who we think someone is, or who we think someone should be, or who we think we are, or the connection we have, what the relationship is, what it should be, what it could be, what it would be, if that, if this. Choosing yourself means to let go of all of that. Let someone be exactly who they're going to be. And all you have to do is show up as you. Okay, now let's get into the how and what. 7 ways to date yourself. All the while keeping in mind that these are ways to choose yourself, making this a practice so that it becomes easier to choose yourself in dating so that you can choose how you want to spend your time and who you want to spend your time with a little bit more effortlessly and easily. Okay, the first way to date yourself, to choose yourself, is to stop denying yourself pleasure. Is there a book that maybe you've started, but then you put it down, you haven't picked it up again in a while, it's laying around your place, or maybe you haven't started it, or maybe it's out and you want to pick it up, you want to download it? Do that. Is there a recipe you've been wanting to try, a TV show you've been waiting to watch, a movie that you've been wanting to watch? Is there something in your town, your city, wherever you live that you've been wanting to do, you've been wanting to experience, but you haven't? It could be any of those things or something else completely. Why are you waiting for when you have the right time, the right moment, the right mindset, the right whatever to do the thing? Ultimately, what you're doing is denying yourself pleasure. It's the classic, there's one cookie left in the cookie jar. I understand discipline. I understand delayed gratification. Also, eat the damn cookie. What are you waiting for? To date yourself, to choose yourself means to allow yourself to experience things that you want to experience and allow yourself to feel all the goodness that comes with that, all the pleasure, all the fun, all the excitement, all the joy, all the gratitude, all the appreciation, all the love, all of it. Because here's the thing, and there's always a thing, the energy behind all of that is limitless. It's not limited. The last cookie in the cookie jar is just a metaphor. There will always be more cookies. And even if that last cookie was the best cookie you ever freaking had, and it was chocolate chip too, your absolute favorite, and no other chocolate chip cookie, no other cookie is ever going to taste that good again. Well, have you had oatmeal raisin? Have you had white chocolate macadamia? Have you had a snickerdoodle? Have you tried all the cookies? It's about giving yourself opportunities to live your freaking life. All right, we're going to roll right through the second way to date yourself. And this is the one. All right, fine. I'm going to get a little bit cliche. Have a good old fashioned self-care night, a self-care day, a self-care night, a self-care morning. Any time of the day or night is a good time for self-care. When does it work for you and your schedule? Light the candle, do the bubble bath, do the music, do the face mask, do the foot massage, do the whatever feels good. And what this is about, building on the last one of choosing yourself by saying yes to yourself, allowing yourself to experience pleasure, allowing yourself to do the thing and not waiting for when, let's say you're in the relationship. It's about allowing yourself just to feel like you deserve this special time, this me time, this attention to you, especially if you're working really hard in your career, in your education. Maybe you're a caretaker for a family member, a friend, or you're like the caretaker of your friend group, right? You're always giving so much to other people. It's just about giving yourself that time to give back to yourself. I know it's cliche, but raise your hand if you forget to do that. Oh my God, my hand's raised. Third way to date yourself is to learn something new. And I almost hesitated putting this one on the list because it can become about becoming proficient in something, right? An expert in something so that we can make money from it, so that we can audition for something, so that we can become the best, the greatest at something. That's not what this is about. This is about a mindset of curiosity, of openness, of expansion. This is about learning something just for the sake of learning it because it's fun and it's interesting and it stimulates your mind and you enjoy it and you get to choose yourself in this process. You get to choose to give energy to this thing that is also giving back to you. It's about learning something new, a skill, a hobby, a craft, whatever, just because it's freaking fun. It's not about the result. It's not about the outcome. It's about the feeling, choosing how you want to feel in this experience. Remember when you were a kid and you discovered something new, you learned something new, or you had something that was just really, really fun? I mean, I remember playing in the sandbox a lot, and it was always the best when it was just like a little bit wet, like it had just rained, or it was a little bit cold or something, and some of the sand got firm. And me and my friends would pretend we're geologists or paleontologists and like carve out rocks and bones and like discover gemstones in the sand. It was just fun. It's about creating, cultivating, choosing to be with these experiences, even as we're adults. Learn something new just for the sake of doing it. It's about discovery just because it feels good, and building on the first two, allowing yourself to fully be with these experiences. All right. The fourth way to date yourself, to choose yourself, is to learn how to be alone. I mean, possibly all these previous three were about that, but this fourth one, what it's really about is valuing your time that you have with yourself. And how this is going to translate to dating is it's going to set the bar You value yourself so much, value who you are, who you're becoming, value the time you have with yourself, value all the life that you get to live, all the choices that you get to choose, all the experiences you get to experience. Anyone else who's detracting from that, they're not going to make it. Dating will become less about the external sources of attention and validation we get from one another and more about the intentional creation, cultivation of a connection where we're each choosing one another, because in this pursuit, this choice of one another, our lives are all of a sudden becoming more enhanced, more fulfilled. Like, what do you mean this just gets better and better? Not that it's always going to be easy, not as if there's not going to be moments of conflict and disagreement where we have to make compromises, where we feel like, oh, maybe I said something, they said something, and we have to navigate what happens when our feelings get hurt, when we're disappointed, when our insecurities come up. I mean, so much of what will happen in dating is that relational healing, right? We get to have those corrective experiences. So when you were dating someone, a past relationship could have even been a family member that somehow made you feel like you weren't good enough, or maybe you were too much. They made that comment about your looks or your personality or about something, something about you that felt really, really personal. And now you're having an experience with someone, you're dating someone that shows up completely differently. You're letting them be who they are, and they're showing you, wait a second, you're not too much, nor are you not enough. You're great, right? I like you just as who you are. And if you haven't experienced that yet, I mean, Lord knows I haven't either. I'm still waiting, but in this process, I'm not going to wait for when, right? I'm not going to wait to live my life. I'm not going to not choose myself. I have to. I got to date myself along the way. And dating yourself, choosing yourself is just going to set you up for just a really great, solid foundation when you start to enter a partnership, a relationship with someone that is also able to choose themselves and show up authentically. Anyway, I think you know where I'm going, but back to the fourth way to date yourself is getting used to spending time alone. Can you take the solo date? Can you take the solo trip, right? Even if it's just a day trip, could you spend a few hours one afternoon in a coffee shop, even if you've got your headphones on, your computer's with you, you got your book with you, whatever, you're listening to music, listening to a podcast, streaming something, all good. Can you even just be by yourself and feel okay with that? Not as if someone's looking at you weird, that they're judging you, they're being critical. Oh my God, like, what are they thinking about me? Why is this person by themselves? Why are they sitting at the bar by themselves, having dinner, having a drink, having a mocktail, right? Don't they have any friends? Aren't they dating someone? Like, what's wrong with them, kind of thing? No, get used to spending time by yourself. It's all good. It doesn't mean that you always feel like everything is like in place, so to speak, as if you don't have that yearning, that longing for the romantic partner by your side, for the connection where, you get to leave the solo date and then go home and someone's there. You get to call up, right? Your honey, your sweetie, your boo, whatever, and have a conversation about your day, your week, whatever's happening in your life. Can you hold space? I always think about the Wicked interviews there, right? Ariana and Cynthia, like holding space as I'm like touching my fingers to themselves right now. Like, can you hold space for maybe what hasn't happened yet? Doesn't mean it won't happen, but what hasn't happened yet for you, what is yet to come, and still value the time that you get to spend with yourself. Because think about it like this: when you're in a relationship, you're not going to have as much alone time. So maybe enjoy it while you can. All right. Fifth way to date yourself, flirty. I need you to flirt. Go out there and make those micro connections, right? You're out and about living your life. You're running errands. You're trying out that new hobby, taking a new class. You're on that solo date. You're having that solo afternoon, the solo experience, doing whatever, wherever. Smile, nod, hello, offer a compliment, ask a question, give someone some energy, share some energy with someone, catch a flirt, and just see how it feels, right? Enjoy those in the moment micro connections, those micro flirts, because they're all practices of connection. Get in the habit of just making connections. Doesn't have to be every time you go out, doesn't have to be every day, but making this a part of your life. And I like this as a practice of dating yourself, choosing yourself for many reasons, but to relate it to dating overall, it's going to lessen so much of the pressure and expectation you may be putting upon yourself that family, friends, society may be placing upon you to be coupled, right? To be in a relationship, to be married, to have the family, to have it kind of all figured out, so to speak. Relationally, it's about letting go, detaching of those expectations, of all of that pressure, coming into the moment, being with your experiences, choosing yourself, choosing to the best of your ability how you want to show up, how you want to think, how you want to feel, and moving forward from there. And flirting, dare I say, is a great way to get out of your head and into the moment, right? Getting out of your head and into your heart, getting out of your head and into the flirt. Okay, we got 2 more to go. 6 way to date yourself flirty. I need you to do that thing that you've been putting off, that you've been delaying, that you've been procrastinating about. I need you to just do it. And there are 2 reasons for this. One, doing the thing is going to free up a lot of mental energy, a lot of mental space, and all that newfound mental space, mental energy you can spend putting towards the first 5 things we've talked about thus far. The other thing that this does is build self-trust, which is going to be so important out there dating. It's about saying, okay, I'm going to do this thing, and then I do it. I show up for myself first. I choose myself first. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, and I've done this, like you could do this for so many reasons. I understand like the demands of our lives play into this, our own mental health plays into this, our physical health plays into this as well. So if that thing you've been putting off just seems unbelievably like insurmountable, I can't touch it, it's too big, I'm not there yet, I'm not ready, all good. What promise can you make yourself right here, right now, in this moment that you can fulfill, that you can stick to, that you can hold yourself to? Do that. Start there. No step is too small. I think about a phrase from my friend Rita, who was here on Flirtations, one of my favorite episodes I've ever recorded. I'm never supposed to reveal a lady's age, but she's going to soon be turning 96, and we're going to spend our birthdays together. We share the same birthday. I just love her and adore her so much. And one of her mantras that I've really just, I repeat to myself all the time is left foot, right foot, just keep marching, right? Just put one foot in front of the other. Even if that step is just a micro millimeter, you're still having forward momentum. Overall, that's still the direction we're going. It's all good if you take some steps back. It's all right if you get stuck a few times. It's all good. You're still overall moving forward. Make promises to yourself, show up for yourself, fulfill those commitments you have to yourself, which is going to make it so much easier to trust yourself when you're dating, to trust your intuition, to trust your inner voice. And that is going to then allow you to open up and be more vulnerable and begin to trust others as well, which is so critical. It's so important. Trust is an essential element in building relationships. All right, 7th and final way to date yourself, to choose yourself. And this one's going to be, I mean, maybe a few of these have been outside of the box already, but this one, I want you to have this kind of main character exploration day. So think about someone from a movie, a TV show, a book, a character, could be fictional, could be non-fictional, that you just really like, that you feel like just embodies a lot of characteristics and values and traits. Could be their personality, could be their belief system, just could be who they are and how they're showing up, that you just really like, you connect with this character, this person. Can you kind of channel, embody their energy? What do they wear? How do they do their hair? Maybe their makeup, right? How do they move about the world? How do they walk? How do they talk? What do they do? What do they like? How do they flirt? Me personally, I'm doing Elle Woods and I love the color pink. So it's a win-win for me. Or maybe you're the main character and you just want to put on your best fit, maybe do a little shopping, get a new pair of shoes, some new clothes, whatever, and just play dress up for a day. Do that. And along with this, do a little writing, do a little reflection, do kind of a beginning, middle, and end of your day. Give your day a narrative, a storyline. How do you feel in the beginning? How do you feel during this experience? And at the end, how do you feel? What was it like? Do a little reflecting. Just give yourself that little bit of time to take down some notes. Could even be a voice note of just what this experience was like. What was your main character day like? My hope is that it's fun, it's really lighthearted, that it's confidence building in the ways you need it to be confidence building. And then the thing about energy is it's neither created nor destroyed, but it is transformed. And so now that energy that you've transformed, that self-doubt that you've transformed into confidence, those limiting beliefs you may have, fears you may have, I'm not enough, I'm too much. Well, what new thoughts have come up for you in your main character day? The energy behind those new thoughts, it's like that energy is yours. It's there forever and you get to always channel it. You get to always have access to it. No one can take it away from you. All right, flirties, there you have it. 7 ways to date yourself, to choose yourself. Thank you so much for being here as part of this Flirtini, or if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show, to the channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so, so much. Your support, just in any way you can provide it, your streams, your watches, what you're doing right now. Thank you so, so much. Your shares, your comments, your ratings, it just, your follows, your likes, all the things. It just means, it means so, so much to me. So thank you so much for being here. That'll do it for me, Benjamin, the Flirt Coach, and Gay Libra here at Flirt Headquarters. I will see you in the very near future in the next episode of Flirtations. Until then, flirty. Happy flirting.